Welcome to another FPL video, guys. In today's video, we're going to talk about a review of Game Week 35, my team selection for Game Week 36, and possible transfer plans ahead of the deadline today. Now, let's dive right into it. In Game Week 35, I had Dubravka in goal. I still don't understand how they couldn't keep a clean sheet against Sheffield despite the 8-0 thrashing that they received earlier in the season. But he did get some save points. 3 points from Dubravka, Regulion 1 pointer, Gabriel 1 pointer, Pedro Porro 2 points across the double game week, which is very, very terrible from my defense, all round. I really was expecting more from Regulion. They considered late in the second half, around about 60 something minutes. Cost me clean sheet there. And I had Brantwaite on my bench. So, well, that didn't feel good. I think an asset I'm really getting tired of in my defense is Pedro Porro. But I'm going to keep him because of the double game week in 37. But he hasn't really been one that I've been happy owning since I bought him on my wild card. But you know, let's see how it goes in the remaining few game weeks of the season. In my midfield, I had Gordon 10 points. He had 2 assists in their game against Sheffield. He could have had more. He missed the one-on-one with the Sheffield goalkeeper, but all around 10 points, really decent return from him. Saka with a goal and assist in the North London Derby to see his team through, win 3-2 in the game on Sunday. 12 points, back to prolific form. He actually did look better in the game. He played better. He looked like the Saka that we know, right? Son, 9 points, 1 goal in his first game, and wasn't really the Son that we knew. Like there was nothing really impressive about his performance against Chelsea yesterday, but 9 pointer, Garnacho 2 points, another very, very disappointing performance from him. Really, really expected more from him in the game against Burnley over the weekend. Palmer 16 points, didn't get any return in his first game against Aston Villa. Should have had one, missed the one-on-one against the keeper, and then got an assist yesterday in the game against Spurs. The saw them win 2-0. So my captain, 16 points from Palmer, decent return. Haaland came off the bench to get a goal against Nottingham Forest over the weekend. Saw City win at 2-0 away at Forest. Really, really close game in my opinion. Really happy about his return and his return back to fitness as well. Alexander Isak, brilliant, brilliant striker. I believe that I should have hopped on the Isak train earlier than I did, but really grateful for his return as well. 13 points from him, 74 points overall. Minor green arrow this game week, but a lot of positives to take from it. I do have a lot of players going into game week 37 that are going to be doubling for me, where I use my bench boost. So I've had the luck of not being like struck with a lot of injuries defensively or in my midfield anywhere. So really, really great, take away from the game week. Like I said, minor green arrow. On my bench, I had Muniz with 6 points, Brantwaite with 6 points. Gusto didn't play any of the, double game weeks. Ariola with just 1 point. But all in all, it was a good game week. So let's talk about my game week 36 team selection. I'm going to be going with Dubravka again in goal. Dubravka is going away to Burnley this weekend. Now we know that Newcastle naturally, or this season, they haven't really had a good away record, and they're playing against a team fighting for relegation. So I do see Burnley scoring in that game. To be fair, I don't know what his points return is going to be like. If you have another keeper with a probably more decent fixture, I do advise that you start him. But seeing as my second choice is Ariola, he's playing against Chelsea away from home. I will be starting Dubravka in goal. My back three are going to be Gabriel of Arsenal, Regulion, and I'm probably, you know, going to go for Brantwaite. He's going away to Luton Town today. Um, I really feel good about, starting Regulion in my defense ahead of the deadline. Brentford have kept 2 clean sheets in their last home game. And he's a bonus point magnet. He offers different routes to attacking returns, long range set pieces. He always gets into the box. So I do fancy Regulion to start. Um, Gabriel, best defense in the league, playing at home to a Bournemouth side that have considered a lot of goals away from home. I do see him keeping a clean sheet. He also has decent attacking output, one of the highest scoring defenders currently in the Fantasy Premier League this season. So I'll be starting him as my second defender. Brantwaite, we saw Everton keep 3 clean sheets on the Spain. They kept 2 clean sheets in the double game week against Forest and Liverpool. Didn't really expect that one. Kept another clean sheet against Brentford over the weekend. I will be starting Brantwaite in my team to complete my back three for my game week at 16 selection. In the midfield, I'm going with Bukayo Saka, um, Phil Foden, Heung-min Son, and Cole Palmer. I mean, it's it's it doesn't seem fair to bench Gordon because I really do feel he can get something against Burnley this weekend. But then again, when you look at the stats and you look at his record away from home compared to his record at home, you just feel like, I mean, it's worth the risk, right? I don't really see him producing a massive haul away from home to Burnley. Like I said, they're in relegation battle, and out of Burnley's last 8 games, they've lost just one out of the last 8. So I do see that game being a tight one. I don't really see so many goals for Newcastle in that game. So I'm going to take the risk of benching Gordon, right, and starting Tottenham because we've heard that Van Dijk may or may not be fit for the game against Spurs, and I back Son to, come away with something against the Van Dijk-less Liverpool defense. So Phil Foden, he was ill over the weekend. He didn't start the game against Nottingham Forest, but I do back him to be back into the starting 11 for Wolves. His best and massive hauls this season have come at home. I see him getting points returned from the fixture this weekend, regardless of whether he starts or not. I do see him producing a decent haul this weekend against Wolves. Saka back to his best. He has a decent record against Bournemouth. If you do have him, you're advised to start him. If you don't have him, I don't advise that you make a transfer to buy him. Seeing that they don't double in, game week 37, I do advise that if you're going to be using any of your transfers, you bring in people that have a decent game this week and then will probably be doubling in 37. But yeah, that's the second player in my midfield. 12 points returned last week. I will be starting him as my second midfielder in my game week at 16 selection. I have Cole Palmer at home to West Ham. Another player that has had a really, really excellent performance in front of his fans, Stamford Bridge. I will be starting him against West Ham. He didn't really produce as many returns as we would have liked in the double game week, but I do back him again. He has an excellent home record, like I've said. So he is going to be the third player in my midfield. And lastly, I'm going with Song Heung-min. I can't sell him ahead of the double game week. He has a decent record against Liverpool. I do back him to at least, get an assist or a goal in this game. I am, however, worried about what his minutes would look like because we've seen Andy bench Madison, we've seen him bench Timo Werner, Richarlison. So I do worry about Son's minutes or whether or not he is going to start against Liverpool. But hopefully he gets the starts, he gets the minutes we require, and probably a goal or an assist in the game. Up top, I'm going with Erling Haaland, Alexander Isak, as well as Nicholas Jackson. This is going to be my front three going into game week 36. I do fancy Nicholas Jackson to get something against West Ham. He missed a lot of chances against them in the first leg where they lost 3-1 to West Ham. He missed about 2 clean cut chances, but he gets a lot of chances. That's the good thing. And I would always take a striker that gets a lot of chances because one way or the other, one day they will bury those chances. It just might come when you least expect it. So I would go with him over, Gordon, like I said. And Chelsea have actually been, dominating possession in recent games against Aston Villa and Tottenham. They controlled the ball very well. The attack has been flowing, through Jackson and Cole Palmer in recent games. So I'm going to be backing him in this fixture against West Ham this weekend. Alexander Isak, another one I'm really excited for. Although I am worried about his minutes as well. Callum Wilson is back in contention. He played a few minutes in the last game, got a goal from the bench. I do see him getting a few minutes of Ishak's minutes. In this game week, we saw Callum Wilson, like I said, feature from the bench with a goal. I don't know what Ishak's minutes are going to be like from now to the end of the season, but unless he gets injured, I don't see myself taking him out of my team. Callum Wilson, on the other hand, has a really decent record against Burnley. So if you are looking for a differential, I could advise that you go with Callum Wilson. He does have, decent records against the remaining teams that they're going to be playing against in the double in 37 and in 38. But I have Alexander Isak in my team, as I've said. He's going to be my second striker in my starting 11. And my third striker is going to be Erling Haaland. We saw him come back, into the lineup against Nottingham Forest, came off the bench with a goal, got a goal for Man City, helped them secure a 2-0 win. I do back him against Wolves. Last season, he scored a hat-trick at home against Wolves. He does have a pretty decent record against them. Man City's squad, they're all fit. With the way they're playing, they have a lot to fight for. The Premier League is at stake. I don't see them dropping points, and I see Haaland getting a lot of goal contributions in that game. Now, on my bench, I have Areola, my substitute goalkeeper. I have Gordon. I have Gusto. I'm not going to be getting rid of him. I do hope that he is back in contention ahead of the double game week in 37. I have Gordon, like I said, Areola, and my last defender is going to be Pedro Porro, one that I hope not to use in this game week anyways. So my possible transfer plans are, I am looking at Kevin De Bruyne. He has averaged at least 10 points per game whenever he plays Wolves. We saw him score 4 goals against Wolves 2 seasons ago. I have him on my watch list ahead of the deadline today. I really do fancy him ahead of the game week. Man City don't really have a lot that they're fighting for. Like I said, they're in the finals in the FA Cup already. That game is going to be taking place in June. So all they have to do is focus on the Premier League at the moment. I do see Kevin De Bruyne starting all the games till the end of the season. But as for the game against Wolves this weekend, I do fancy him as a really, really great differential. His minutes, I'm not worried about his minutes. I do believe that he'll play at least 70 minutes per game till the end of the season. So he is one of the key targets I'm looking at that I could possibly bring into my team ahead of the deadline. I'm also looking at, Hoyland. He could be a massive differential. He also doubles in 37. He's fixed on minutes. Although Anthony Marshall is back in training, don't really know how that's going to affect Hoyland's minutes, but I do see him starting the remaining games till the end of the season. Really, really great differential. He got a goal 2 game weeks ago. Really didn't see much of him in the game against Burnley last weekend, but I do believe that he will be a great differential going into the remaining game weeks of the season. Havertz, another one. If you're looking for a 1 week punts kind of player, I do recommend Havertz. He has been on prolific form for Arsenal. He has returned 8 attacking returns in his last 8 game weeks. I do back him going into game week 36, playing at home to Bournemouth. Um, he has thrived so much in his new role for Arsenal. So I do really believe that if you're looking for a 1 week punt or you're chasing ranks in your mini leagues, Havertz could be a really decent differential. Madueke is another differential for Chelsea. He has been on top form for the Blues. He has had really decent take-ons, decent goal involvement. I think Pochettino has been, really impressed with his development in recent games. And I do think he's nailed on minutes as far as we know, so far. So Noni Madueke could really be a decent differential this week as well. And then finally, if you're looking to go for a City defensive asset, I do recommend Vardiol this week ahead of Kyle Walker. The reason is because Kyle Walker, yes, may be nailed on minutes, but Vardiol offers more attacking threats than Kyle Walker. And with the remaining games that Man City have, I do back Vardiol to start 3 out of the 4 of them, and at least the 2 in the double game week. In April, he had 2 goals and assists and 2 clean sheets. So I do actually believe that Vardiol should produce more point hauls than Walker over the remaining games till the end of the season. So I would recommend Vardiol as my first choice City defender if you're looking to get in a City defender, as well as Walker. But Walker would come in as my second choice anyways. If you have Ederson currently, I do advise that you hold. Pep Guardiola has said that he may be in contention ahead of game week 7. He said he feels good. So if you do have him, I would advise not to bench him, but have a good substitute goalkeeper that could come in for you if Ederson is deemed not fit enough for the game week. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you have any questions for your team before the deadline, please do well to leave them in the comment section. I would get back to them, or I would answer your questions rather as soon as I can. Thanks guys. See you guys in the next FPL video.